Welcome to the Salty Nerds react to trailers and stuff on their YouTube channel with David Hewlett. Today we're going to be reacting to the Guillermo del Toro new anthology show on Netflix, Cabinet of Curiosities. And I'm joined as always by my fantastic panel of nerds. Matt Vader's here. What's up, dude?
We are breaking trailers down with people that are in the trailers.
I know, isn't that weird?
It's weird. And it's kind of awesome.
I can't believe we do this.
I know. David's like a salty nerd.
Absolutely.
He's one of us.
Yeah. Judah's also here.
Oh, hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad. Matt the Kadish, the big deal himself. Welcome, sir.
Yes, it's great to have my best friend David Hewlett back on the show. It's always nice when he comes over. We hang, you know.
The real love of Kadish's life.
Speaking of hanging, we have to clarify this for the new audience because we have no context for what's going on in your background right now.
What do you mean? So renovations going on, lots of noise. So I built a pillow fort to hide in. And yes, I think I've done a very glamorous job of it. I'm expecting HGTV to call anytime for my new renovation show.
What was it? Chip and who?
Chip and Joanna Gaines.
Chip and Joanna Gaines need to head over to the Hewlett's house. And
I'm super jealous right now. That looks like so much fun. I love forts.
Honey, do you want a fort?
I do. I really do.
Well, they're just cheap sound blankets from Amazon. They're great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have them upstairs in my sound booth.
Yeah, we've got expensive sound blankets all over the studio.
Right behind us. That's what it is.
Did you buy good ones?
I don't know.
Yes.
Did we buy good ones?
Yes, we bought good ones.
Okay. Yeah, we bought good ones.
I bought like just really cheap ass ones.
We're rolling in that podcast money. You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
You haul moving
Production
blankets.
value. It's going to be on camera. So,
yes, for sure. All right, let's get into this. David, do you want to do a little intro for this? Because this is a brand new anthology on Netflix.
Yeah.
There's really no context for it quite yet.
And the episode that David did for this, he did with his friend Vincenzo.
Who did Cube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The boys are back together.
Kadish is the master name dropper.
I was trying to get Hewlett to name drop that, but that's all right. Go ahead. So take it away.
No, that's great. I mean, that was it. It was so Guillermo. Like, it's kind of like I grew up like reading Fangoria magazine and all the horrible makeup effects that my parents were always like, oh God, what's wrong with this child? So the dream, Guillermo is doing an anthology series, and I'm like, oh man, that's so cool. And then Vincenzo calls and goes, so I've got this little anthology thing to do. And he basically, I mean, it's like actor's dream. He wrote this part for me, and it's not a one-hander, but it's it's a lot of me. But I think more than that, it's just a series of different horror films, all imagined by different directors. So there's this crazy different sort of and crazy diverse selection of horror fanatics making films, and I cannot wait to see them. I just said like GDT just won Halloween. It's just gonna be beautiful. So.
This is gonna be, I'm looking forward to this. I'm not usually like a horror type person, but I am. Jude super is. Jude's getting me more into that genre.
Oh, I'm so pleased.
Like I'm watching all these like goofy, campy horror movies with her, and I'm like, yeah, okay, I can see it. I get it. I get it. So I'm looking forward to this.
Some of them are campy. Like some of these are sort of Evil Dead. Like ours is kind of Evil Dead like in a way. I mean, it's almost like a period piece Evil Dead. But and then some of them are incredibly serious, and then some of them are just like fun gore fests, and so it's just it runs the gamut.
Right on.
Well, Jude makes us watch things like Killer Clowns from Outer Space,
You're
and
welcome.
then she drops
and
then she drops Carrie on us.
Oh yeah,
I'm
like,
laugh at you.
Jesus, it was just,
the original.
Yeah, the original.
Yeah.
I sent these guys a selfie yesterday. I had brushed my hair out, and I looked like Piper Laurie from Carrie. And I sent them a selfie, and V was like, fuck no.
I'm just running now. I used to have a little crush on you, and now nope, it's over.
I'll just see your dirty pillows, V.
Yeah.
All right.
How does it hold up now? Like, is it
so
still
good.
horrific? I mean,
So good.
It's still horrific.
It's
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it scary, but it's disturbing.
Yeah.
Well, that's the way it's always been.
Yeah.
It's
I've
a
seen it.
mind
just
break.
film from that era I find kind of disturbing. Even just the quality of film. is
Yeah, there's
kinda
something
creepy,
about
I
it.
find.
Yeah, and I've seen it 1,000 times, and I was telling them when we were talking about it, like every single time I've seen it, I still feel that, like, turn around, don't do that, and like I know what's gonna happen. I've seen it 1,000,000 times, and I still have that feeling in me. So yeah, 100% it holds up. Rewatchability.
It's like that with The Shining for me as well. Shining was the same thing for me, right? Just couldn't. Just every time I watched it, I'm like,
Yeah, that one scene in The Shining where the dude like peeks around the corner and it's in like the dude in the teddy bear suit or whatever. It freaks me out every time.
Yeah.
All right, speaking of freaking people out, let's check out this trailer. Take it away, Mr. Producer. Good God.
Oh my.
Right out the
Cabinet of
gate.
Curiosities is a show that I've always wanted to make. In this anthology, we gave ownership of each episode to the directors.
Action.
Each of the episodes has a whole world. They present you with different
my God.
delights. Some are savory, some are sweet. You get a surprise from each of the bites.
Don't mess with the kid.
Oh,
We
changeling.
wanted to create beautiful, practical creatures.
Nice.
This looks great.
With all the artistry that goes into creating a great monster.
He's the best at doing that
We
too.
achieved some of the most remarkable images in the series.
That was
With Cabinet of Curiosities, what I'm trying to say is, look, the world is beautiful and horrible.
I think I see a face.
Oh, this looks creepy as hell.
It
Yeah,
really
it
does.
does.
What a great October show.
yeah.
I can't wait. How many episodes are there? Is there like 6 or 8?
I don't know.
I can't remember. It's either 6 or 8. Yeah, I don't remember.
So is Guillermo like the new Hitchcock? Is that?
Yeah,
I was
well,
getting a Hitchcock vibe off of him right there.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Which is so perfect because
Yeah.
that's totally him. I
Yeah.
mean, that's like it's the same thing. This sort of love of this very sort of erudite love of film and horror, like a genre that's usually, more blood. You know,
Mhm.
it's just it's never or rarely is it taken that seriously. But for some reason, like he's somehow elevated it. I think it's also it may be like a Mexican thing too. Like I feel like he talks about how in some cases he's had like studios say, oh, that's too much, we need to cut that back, and he's like no, that's a North American talking,
Right.
that's an American talking. That's not in Mexico. We're used to that violence. Like
Yeah.
our tolerance for violence is so much higher than anyone else's, and so extreme violence is something that they live with, that he
Right.
grew up with.
Mhm.
So but it's like you take what you're terrified of and you turn it into from a nightmare into a dream, and it's just he's like the Gandalf of Hollywood. That guy.
So David,
Love 'em.
your
Love 'em.
episode in this anthology, you're kind of
Yes.
like dealing with a lot of rats, basically. Can you give us some insight into what your episode's all about?
I think that with the premise, it's Graveyard Rats. His premise is basically is a grave, what would be, I guess, a grave robber. It's about a grave robber's dilemma about how he's gonna make rent next month or whatever. But he's foiled constantly by many different things, but the big one that he starts to focus on are these rats, which are
Okay.
yeah. It's an interesting
From that quick-
it really is Evil Dead.
From that quick
Sweet.
glimpse that we got, I thought we were going to go like werewolf status, like the teeth and all that
that's
stuff.
That's like Mama Rat.
Mm.
That's big. That was, and I'm amazed that worked. I was like,
Okay.
he was like, I saw pictures of like, just drawings he'd done. I was like, how are you going to do that? And sure enough, they wheel that sucker on set. And I was like,
Oh my
holy
God.
crap, that is just beautiful.
All of a sudden, I'm thinking Skaven from Warhammer 40K, but you guys
Ha.
probably don't know what that
You
is.
nerd.
But it is very sort of like rat being, but
Mhm.
but there's lots of little ones as well. We had the joy of having rats placed on my face.
Ooh.
Oh God.
And
That's
Yeah,
a
it was,
sensory experience you'll have to go to your grave with.
well, it's weird. Vincenzo's wife is a film distributor. She buys films. Like she bought Blair Witch for Japan.
Mm.
Like
Okay.
she's got a good eye for this stuff. And she was saying that she says, well, the reality is that actors they're just masochists. They just, for some reason, you point a camera at them and then you could do anything you want, basically. And with Vincenzo, it's always been a bit like that. Like I've always sort of played Vincenzo in his movies.
Mhm.
But a much more, I would say, a more feeble version of Vincenzo. a much more flawed Vincenzo, shall we say.
So,
but yeah, it's a wonderful period piece.
One of the greatest things about Del Toro's movies is his practical effects with his monsters and stuff. That's like his calling card. And I'm always curious, like when we see it on film, you've got the perfect lighting, you've got the cinematography, you've got the music to help out. Is it less terrifying on set when you're sitting in front of this thing that you know is a rubber monster, or does it allow you to kind of react more naturally when something is happening?
I mean, it definitely helps to have, a giant hideous monster hanging and drooling over you at a close proximity. That definitely helps with the acting, I would say. But there's definitely, I mean, I've always said this about acting. It's so funny. There's so much technical stuff to acting. Like everyone thinks it's all about like, how do you find the emotions and stuff? It's like, how do you not laugh when someone's trying to get goop off their hand to hit you in the face, or blood to, blood cannons. And I mean, it's such a ridiculous process, the whole thing. But so you sort of get it in little pieces, but that, seeing that kind of thing work when you're like in a tunnel and you look down and you see what is just is either an animatronic rat or a combination digital animatronic or whatever they end up doing. But I'm watching just the first part of that whole process and still going like, I'd go with that. That's fine. Like that thing coming in and out of shadows is just really creepy. Right. The hardest thing with those things is always to get the move, right? The movements are always weird. And CG hasn't quite got it right for a lot of them yet. And there's just something practical. We've got an eye for that stuff. Yeah. We can tell when there's something there, when there's not something there.
Yeah. So speaking of practical effects, tell us about your facial hair. Because I remember on Instagram and Twitter, you were dropping some pretty epic facial hair pictures. Yeah.
I had that. It was like a whole like a handlebar type mustache thing that was then sideburns, and it was glorious. It was glorious. I loved it. But the moment we wrapped, my wife was like, "Yeah, that's gone now.
They're gone. They're leaving."
So they were fake, but you didn't grow them out?
I had fake sideburns that gradually over the period of time, we started threading more and more of my own sideburns in. They were imagined. So I'm afraid I'm just not that manly. I don't mean to disappoint you.
I don't want to get into spoilers or anything, but I'm guessing according to the facial hair style, this takes place 1700s. When does your story take place in?
Yeah, I guess that's, I should know I remember discussing it, but yeah, around there.
Okay.
There's sea shanties
in that 100-year window.
Yeah. A couple of different decades.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm actually more curious about how your family deals with like the different looks that you have to go through when you have like a different part. Like,
they just laugh because the thing is, even when I'm not working, I do stupid things.
Like his blanket fort.
Well, I take offense to that, ma'am.
You set it up. I just put the ball in.
Yeah, I definitely I don't think anything surprises my family anymore. Either my immediate family or my family. Everyone's just sort of, my dad keeps going like, "Oh, I didn't know you were in that." So there's a lot of that kind of stuff. But it's funny we talk about family. So Vincenzo, the guy who wrote and directed this, he and I started making movies together when we were like 13, 14 years old. We've talked about this before with you guys, but this was like getting to do one of our little student films, except you've got Guillermo and all of the resources that come with Guillermo there. Mm-hmm. And he's just so, this was about the filmmakers. This was a filmmaker's project, like first and foremost. And I think it just, it's just so rare to get the chance to do that. And I just love that Netflix has sort of partnered up with Guillermo on that stuff. And I just hope there's another season already.
Oh, that'd be really cool.
So you were in Guillermo del Toro's last movie with Bradley Cooper. Yeah. Was Del Toro on set at all during the production of this stuff, or was he just kind of like hands off?
I don't think I saw him on set. I get little texts every so often, which was kind of fun. It's always kind of fun just to have, those Oscar award-winning directors sort of go like, you are hilarious. You are born to be a loser. Like it was just like lots of, just little emails. But no, he's just got so much going on, I'm guessing. And also I know there were like they were frantically doing. They had to do reshoots, pickups, and reshoot stuff on all sorts of different things as they went along. So he's pretty busy. But I was hoping he'd show up. I want him just to witness just how hard. I mean, it wasn't that hard. It was actually really fun. Actually, I'll tell you one weird experience I had. So there's I don't think it's any secret that there's some tunnels in this. Mm-hmm. So I went for a wardrobe fitting, and at one point they said, "Okay, now we have to fit you for a tunnel." So they said, "So just crawl around on the ground, and we're going to measure you." So, like, how low can you go? How do you think, And they measured me, and I didn't really think much of it. And then I came in for a tunnel fitting, where I got in the tunnel, and I went through a small stretch of it just to see what it was like. And they're like, "Okay, that fits fine. It's good. It's not too big. It's not too small." There's a couple of ones that they said they're a little bit smaller because they have to get stuck in place. So anyways, but and then I went home and for a nice night's sleep before my first day of shooting, and have the most horrendous nightmare about claustrophobia. Full on, your heart's going. You're like, "Oh God, I can't do this. I can't do this." I'm like, and I'm screaming in my sleep, and I'm like, it was horrendous. And so I wake up and I'm lying in bed for 2 hours going what if I'm claustrophobic? It never occurred to me that I might actually be claustrophobic, right? Because I'm everything else. I'm a hypochondriac. I'm convinced I've got everything. But as it turns out, the dream was the worst it could possibly ever have been. So everything else was easy after that. After a nightmare like that, it was like the fake tunnels with safety exits and things. It was great. Yeah.
That's great. I didn't know you had to get fitted for tunnels. It makes sense.
Yeah. I learned that
First time it's ever happened for me.
That's like when we learned about the intimacy coaches on set.
Yeah. That's weird too. I think we've discussed that as well. It's an odd thing. There was I'll tell you that.
I just want to know how I can get that job.
There's some fun intimacy stuff I can talk to you about C come the end of the season. But,
okay. All right.
So David, I know that you are a collector of props. I was wondering if you got to take anything home from this project.
Did you keep a rat?
Keep anything? I do have a rat somewhere.
You do?
Yes. That's actually from another movie,
that you
though, and I
have a
brought
little token of everything that you work on.
Well, I brought it to set. During the wardrobe fitting. I would put the rat on my shoulder. They're like, where did he get that from? I was like, he brought it himself. I set the tone, and I did all my Zoom meetings from my pillow fort. But what did I take from that? There's a couple of things I asked about, which I'm curious to know. I know that Vincenzo has a couple of things. He's always got things, but you know who the worst person for that is Guillermo.
Yeah.
I think Guillermo, there's a massive statue thing. I think maybe that may be in Guillermo's living room now. I don't know. That guy had to buy another house to put all of his stuff in.
Yeah, there's actually episodes of TV shows that are dedicated to his house and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I know he did an exhibit here called At Home with Monsters.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, that'd be so freaky.
It's amazing. It's like an exhibit of all of his props that he's kept over the years. Mm-hmm. He was a producer on Splice, so there's this horrible Splice weird mutant doll baby embryo thing. It's really cool. Right. And I can see why, his wife wouldn't allow it in the house.
Yeah, for sure.
So get your own house for that.
Really looking forward to checking this out. It's definitely on our list. It's on our radar. If we have, we're so stacked between C and the other TV shows we're talking about. I think we should definitely make some room to at least talk about David's episode that we can talk to him about.
It's good Halloween.
Yeah.
Good Halloween viewing.
I
like the
love
fact
watching creepy stuff in October.
We're actually giving Vincenzo his own week in October on our show. So we're going to...
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're going to be doing our Cube review. We're going to be doing Splice, and we're going to be doing the episode of the Cabinet of Curiosities.
Oh, great.
Perfect.
Oh, great. Yeah, I look forward to having him explain Splice. Because I don't know what the hell was going on in there.
All right, everybody.
I remember Adrian Brody saying they laughed. Were they supposed to laugh? I was like, oh, they always laugh. I was like, it's this wonderful, uncomfortable laughter in every Vincenzo show. There's always a couple of times where people just go
David, should we watch Splice or should we watch The Haunting?
What you mean, Haunter?
Haunter film. Yeah.
If you had a choice, I would do Splice just because I think it's a little bit more groundbreaking. If that makes sense, it's sort of more all over the place. Haunter's great. It's like a little ghost movie though. It's not quite as. I don't think it's as Guillermo as as Vincenzo. I almost said Guillermo. It's not quite as Vincenzo as Splice is. I think Splice is definitely the full Natali madness, I would say.
Cool.
And Guillermo produced it. So
Oh, cool.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching this video. Really appreciate it. Looking forward to Netflix's new Cabinet of Curiosities anthology. I love the anthology. I even like Buster Scruggs. That cowboy anthology was really cool too. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. And Vader, where can they find you on the socials, bud?
You can find me at MattVader74.
All right. Jude?
You can find me at I am Jude Juju.
All right. Matthew Kadish.
You can find me at Matthew Kadish, Kadish on Twitter. KadishBooks.com takes you to our Amazon page. And be sure to give us a 5-star rating on Apple iTunes or Apple Podcasts if you're listening to us on there, because we need 200 of those suckers in order to be officially accredited as movie reviewers on Rotten Tomatoes.
It's a big deal. All right, guys, head over to Discord if you want to chat with us about our content and hang out with a bunch of really cool people. And Mr. Hewlett, where can they find you at?
best bet is techbandits.org. That's where all my latest stuff ends up.
Right on.
All my madness, all my pillow forts.
All
Thank
your
you.
mad science stuff.
The schematics to his pillow fort are on techbandits.org.
Yeah, it's to scribble on paper.
Well, again, thank you for being here. Thank you for reviewing this trailer with us. I'm really looking forward to it.
Anytime. I cannot wait for you guys to see it because I think it should be. It should
I'm
be.
excited
I
for it.
think there'll be a
Can't
few
wait.
chuckles.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
You're giving us a lot of gold
I know.
this year.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Stay salty.